Who will?
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
Monday night, a workman is trapped in the basement of a City Avenue hotel, and it's a victory for abortion rights supporters in Westchester. But the big story in Action News tonight is the end of a day which reminded us that winter is still with us, and it can rear its head at any time. Action News reporter David Murphy is live in King of Prussia. David, you have been touring our area tonight. What have you found?
Well, fortunately, Jim, it's ducking its head back into a hole right now. Not a whole lot of precipitation out here currently in the King of Prussia area. Just some light mist and some honking trucks behind me on Route 202, one of the many roads around the area that appear to be recovering at this hour, but as you said earlier tonight, it was sloppy. At places like the Trapp Shopping Center, the picture tells the story tonight, but so does the sound. This lot and most others are slick and slushy, but people dealing with these conditions weren't complaining.
I guess this time last year we had piles, like 10 feet of snow here at this parking lot.
So this isn't bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
Of course, this entire winter hasn't been bad. This shot of flower stalks spurred by recent warm days shooting through the snow tells that story. The heavy snow didn't let up until after dark in some spots. This is Route 422 around Royersford earlier tonight. But it was big, wet snow that turned to water as soon as it hit the road surface here. In nearby Limerick, snowplow operators had no trouble clearing the stuff away. The main thing these snowflakes were sticking to was each other, great for snowballs and snowmen, like here in West Norton Township, where we found the unknown snowman with a bag over his head. Watch closely and you can see a teardrop fall from his eye, no doubt because he realizes the way this winter's been going, he probably won't be around for long. Snowman designer Nicholas McCrary says he was glad for this rare opportunity.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been much snow, has there?
Not at all.
Fortunately, there's not been much snow on the highways this entire winter as well. None on Route 202 right now, although most of the roads in the area remain wet at this hour. David Murphy live with the Action Cam, King of Prussia.
Thank you, David. Now let's get the take on all of this and see what is in store for the morning from AccuWeather and Dave Roberts. David?
Well, the drizzle drags on, Jim, here on City Line Avenue. All very quiet out here tonight. Quite a different scene from what we had for rush hour this evening. Take a look at Action Radar and you'll see the system well out of here. It was a quick-moving system. We're going to go closer on Action Radar now, and we'll show you the movement of the system as it came through the area. There's the current picture of it way up in the top. One more time, we'll go around and you see the building of the system here as the tail end of it just moves away from us. So a little shower, a little drizzle overnight. All in all, no heavy precipitation, no more snow. The good news is we remain above the freezing mark. And for rush hour in the morning, AccuWeather is calling for maybe a drizzle or two, but temperature is about 35 degrees, and that's good news. We'll talk more about that and milder weather coming, yes, tomorrow. Jay?
Basically just kind of drying out. Trevose picked up 3 inches, 3.5 inches in Coatesville, and Mount Laurel picked up about 1 inch. Of course, the big question will be what will freeze over tonight and for the rush hour tomorrow morning. I'll have all those details coming up a bit later on. Larry?
Thank you, Dave. For the latest in the winter storm and how it will affect tomorrow morning, watch News 3 this morning beginning at 5:30. And don't forget, for updates on all weather-related closings and cancellations, stay tuned to KYW News Radio 1060. Our problems...
But it was not a surprise. Glenn told us it was coming yesterday.
That is true.
Right, and we also told you that it was the warm road temperatures that were going to help save us, and that's what happened today. If it was really cold yesterday instead of really warm, things would have been very different. Across the area right now, we're watching the temperatures very closely, and there's a reason for that, because they're very close to the freezing mark. Take a look at our weather net, and in Cherry Hill, Russell Knight, 33 degrees, the high at midnight, 44. During the peak of the snow, it got down to 32. Winds out of the north and about 2/3 of an inch of liquid stuff falling from the sky, humidity 100%. Now, other WeatherNet cities are showing temperatures right near the freezing mark, 32 in Doylestown, 32 here at NBC 10, 33 in Wilmington. It hasn't budged during the evening hours, and that's good because it's at or above freezing. The roads have been warm. It's holding steady in Reading and Trenton and Allentown. So the temperature should not be dropping overnight tonight, and nothing more than some isolated problems of bridges and overpasses in the far northern areas that had a substantial amount of snow. Just some drizzle left over in much of the area, a few flurries to the north, no additional accumulation. That's what it looked like when it was accumulating late this afternoon. Watch how fast it moved out. We told you this was a fast-moving storm, just a little bit of the light drizzle left behind. Some snow amounts up to 6 inches in the Poconos, 3.7 in Allentown, 2.5 in Coatesville, 3 inches in northern Bucks, and a ½ inch officially out at the airport. We fly back and find the center of the low pressure offshore, moving away. Mild air behind it, not cold air, and there's the next front that's going to be affecting us by Wednesday. As the storm moves out, it's moving out so fast, the winds will stay northeast, and that'll keep the clouds around during the morning hours, maybe some drizzle as well. And there's the next cold front that's going to provide the showers for Wednesday, another mild day. Here's the forecast then for the remainder of the night. Drizzle and some fog developing, flurries to the north, temperatures generally holding between 32 and 36 degrees, so no widespread problems in the morning. Although it's not going to be pretty. Drizzle and fog then with some sun in the afternoon, a milder afternoon, but not exactly warm. It will be warmer on Wednesday, 5-day forecast.
Well, we finally got rid of that system today as it moved out of the area. Plenty of precipitation, along with snow and sleet and a little rain mixed in. All in all, though, we had everything but sunshine. Let's go to Action Radar now, and you'll see the system and take a look at it. And there's nothing there to report. A little near Trenton, hanging off the coast. And let's activate Action Radar now and see what's happening. There's the larger picture. We'll set it in motion for you. You see the system just quickly moving out of the area. There's the tail end of it. Fortunately for us, it moved out very, very quickly. And the temperatures now for this hour are staying well above freezing. That's the good news. There's the storm center there. 62 degrees. You only had to go to Raleigh-Durham to be on the pleasant side of this system. All in all, the frontal system through. Got high pressure here, down here, moving in, but there's plenty of moisture and cloud cover. Looks like that's just going to stay come tomorrow. The call from AccuWeather is the clouds hang on. I'm sorry, I can't resist. Clouds hang on. 28 in the Poconos, 32 in Allentown, 35 in Wilmington, 36 in Dover. Our low 33 degrees, 44 degrees. That was our high. Let's take a look at the 11 o'clock numbers now. Present temperature reading is 35 degrees. Humidity 93%. The barometer is 30.10. It is steady. Winds out of the northeast at 14 miles an hour. The ocean water temperature is 43 degrees. In the northeast, we're posting 34, 35 outside the station, 36 for Center City, 35 at the airport, and Camden, 35. The exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast. Here it goes. Drizzle with some fog. Overnight low 30.
This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on. Only on the Weather Channel. Scope.
Wintry weather has returned to the Northeast tonight, while much of the South continues to clean up from the weekend's deadly and destructive storms and tornadoes. Good evening. I'm Mike Seidel here at the Weather Channel.
And I'm Christine Abernathy. We'll begin with the Northeast, where snow and a wintry mix swept through the region tonight. 2 to 3 inches of snow fell in the New York City area. This is Hasbrook Heights in northeastern New Jersey. The heavy wet snow was accumulating on the grassy areas and on rooftops. Snow began falling lightly in New York City this afternoon, became heavier with nightfall, and then tapered off late this evening. Well, from a satellite view, we can see where the system is. It's steadily moving away from the northeast coast. Good news, taking the wet weather, the snow, the icy conditions with it, although we still have a bit of precipitation here, and it looks like that could continue for a while in parts of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York, and into New England. So you're still getting a bit of snow, a bit of sleet, and even some rain, although most of the snow by this point is generally speaking light snow. So you could still run into a few problems on the roads here, maybe some slick spots, so take it a little extra easy out there, but things will be improving, we think, as we head into the morning hours and into tomorrow. Well, here's what it looks like on the weather map. Here's where the snow is still falling, again, through southern New England and southern New York and Pennsylvania. But where you see the orange, that's where you may be getting some sleet or some icy conditions here. And then southward, it's wet weather. But this low, again, is going to be moving steadily away from the coast, and it'll be taking all this messy weather with it. Again, not before it dropped several inches of snow in some parts of New York and Pennsylvania and on into New England. Temperatures here, a little on the chilly side, certainly in the 30s, but only the mid-30s here from Boston to New York to Philadelphia. Although Rochester is at 30, Erie 33, and it's already dropping down to 22 degrees in Burlington. Well, here's what it looks like on our radar picture. Still getting a bit of snow here through eastern New York, not showing up so well on the radar, nevertheless. Again, light snow falling here, also through southern New York and even into southern New England. You're still getting a bit of it, and as we focus in a little more closely on the New York area, you can see that, again, the radar not terribly impressive at this point, but you are dealing with some chilly temperatures, and certainly some slick roads will be experienced here. Total snowfalls by noon on Tuesday. We're thinking that a rather widespread area here through New York and New England could pick up several inches of snow, with, we think, the heaviest amounts here through parts of Massachusetts and into Connecticut and Rhode Island, where 3 to 6 inches of snow are possible before all is said and done. Mike?
Well, Christina, rain continued to fall across the Tennessee and Ohio valleys today, affecting some areas still feeling the impact of this weekend's deadly storms. The state of Arkansas is reeling from tornadoes that killed 24 people and devastated large areas. It has now been determined that a single tornado hit both Little Rock and Arkadelphia. The F4 tornado tore a path 80 miles long and at least a mile wide. An F4 tornado has wind speeds of 207 to 260 miles an hour. To the north of there, the heavy rain caused flooding problems. Parts of West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky are underwater. We have a report on this flooding beginning in Manchester, Ohio, which is located on the Ohio River.
Another disaster here. Sherry Lair has never seen the water come this close in the 11 years she's lived here, so she's not taking any chances. She and her family are on their way out.
Usually we can wait it out and get surrounded, but what they're calling for, it'll get us.
It's already gotten to some businesses. They didn't heed the warning that the Ohio River would overflow its banks, turning the town of Manchester into the River of Manchester by this morning.
We're trying to get ahead of the water here. Don't look like we're going to make it.
Flooding isn't even the biggest concern yet. Mud is sliding down hillsides on tops of homes and across US 52, blocking the main road in and out of Manchester. It's destruction this town wasn't totally prepared for. Extra cleanup crews are brought in to clear the road just in time for the water to block it. The community says there's no way to prepare for such a disaster. It's just a matter of taking as much as they can with them as they escape.
All that stuff can be replaced, but most of the stuff I'm taking can't. Like my animals.
They're off, like almost everyone else, to higher ground.
Well, at least the weather in those areas has dried out considerably since earlier today. You can see a lot of clear skies. You're seeing some milky appearance here. That's just the infrared satellite sensing the temperatures cooling off at night. The only low clouds are this patch right in here. Storm track now more to the north. Here's our spinning low here. Will not bring any rain into the Mississippi Valley or the Ohio Valley tomorrow. However, a front coming out of the plains will pick up maybe just enough moisture for a shower, with the possibility of more rain in this area by the weekend. In the short term, though, we're watching snows in the Midwest, Minneapolis, St. Paul, over towards Green Bay, International Falls, and back through the eastern Dakotas. You can see the nice twirl here. Heavier snowfalls where you see the darker green, and we've got some rain and snow in the west, primarily a snow event in the Rockies. Closer inspection, snowfall actually has ended for the time being in the Twin Cities, but there will be more overnight. There's your heavier snow in the darker green, and snow's now streaking off towards the UP of Michigan, and we'll have actually some lake enhancement off Superior during the day on Tuesday, which will mean a little bit more snowfall. Right now our low is sitting over South Dakota. Moving in this direction, we have the warm, moist air being forced over the relatively colder air at the surface. This is what we call overrunning. It's one of those basic ways to produce rain or snowfall, and with temperatures at or below freezing, it's snow in this case. Then we have the Arctic air drilling in behind the storm, and the wind chills tonight are rather significant as well as the temperatures. 9 in Minot, 11 in Bismarck. Pretty cold stuff for March. 31 in Minneapolis, and those of you in Chicago, don't worry about the snow. That will stay well to your north. Look at the wind chills, though. 20 to 25 below zero in the Dakotas. That's dangerous stuff. Some of the coldest air we've seen in a while, but question is it going to head south into Texas? We'll find out coming up, but right now it's not bad in the great state of Texas or the southeast in Florida. Let's find out, though, if this cold air makes it south and east over the next day or so. The Tuesday forecast first. Here's Christina.
All right, into Tuesday morning, watching our low move away from the northeast coast. That'll continue to move on away and take the precipitation with it. Also a low moving through the lakes region, so look for snow here. Pretty quiet for most of the southeastern U.S. and the southwest, although snow continuing here for the Rockies. That'll be the case throughout the day, and then again through Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan, and even into lower Michigan, you'll have some snow, a little bit of rain along our front, along the Gulf Coast and here in northern Florida. Precipitation amounts not terribly impressive here across the U.S. Keep in mind that much of this is going to be falling in the form of snow. Not a lot of wet weather to talk about, but you will pick up a few inches of snow here in the northeast and through the Dakotas and into Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. Up to 6 inches of snow are possible. In the west, you too getting your share of precipitation through the mountains of Utah and into the Cascades, 3 to 6 inches there. Temperatures overnight pretty chilly, especially here to the north in the single digits and even below zero. And here are your high temperatures for Tuesday. Pretty cool to the north, but it is going to be nice and mild in the southeast and along the Gulf Coast with highs in the 70s and 80s. What about the rest of our forecast, Mike?
Okay, let's get into it on Wednesday. A lot of warm air still in the southeast Florida and the southwest. It does cool down briefly in Texas for those of you in Dallas back into the upper 50s, but then a quick recovery. Often this time of the year with that higher sun angle and longer daylight period, it warms up pretty quickly. These cold air masses are getting wimpier and wimpier. As you can see here, Friday and Saturday, unless you're in New England or the upper Midwest and northern lake areas, it's going to be pretty decent, at or above average. Certainly 70s and 80s are about 3 weeks early, 3 to 4 weeks early for many locations. But back up to 80 in the Big D on Saturday. Good barbecue weather. Meanwhile, showers along the eastern seaboard. No severe weather with this one. A quick moving front, just some light rainfall. Clears out pretty nicely on Thursday. Then we turn our attention to the west for the end of the week with some showers as far south as the Bay Area. Thursday, moving back up to northern California around Mount Shasta on Friday. Now on Saturday, we'll watch out for the possibility of more severe weather in the plains at mid-Mississippi Valley, and hopefully it will not be as bad as it was this weekend. I'm heading to the Advanced Weather Center.
Are you really?
This is it for me here. I'll see you over at the new place.
Stay tuned.
Climb aboard and take your...
Well, it's time now for our winter weather update, and we do have a bit of wintry weather to talk about across the country. Let's get right to it. And you can see it on the map. A bit of snow here falling through the northern plains and into Minnesota and even into Wisconsin as this area of low pressure moves through the region. It'll eventually start moving towards the Great Lakes region and take the snow into that area. In the northeast, you've had your share of precipitation. You've had snow, you've had rain, you've had even some icy conditions as the area of low pressure sort of redeveloped here off the east coast. This is the same system that was responsible for the rough weather in Texas and Arkansas and into the Ohio Valley over the past couple of days. Also in the west, some precipitation here. You've got a little bit of rain, western Washington and Oregon, and also snow for the Cascades and into the Rockies. We want to focus a little more closely on what's going on here in the northeast, and things have begun to wind down somewhat, although You still have some snow here, especially through Massachusetts and into Connecticut and even Rhode Island, northern New Jersey, and a bit of light snow here through eastern Pennsylvania. And you've picked up several inches of snow in some areas, but as this low moves on away from the coast, we will see the precipitation winding down. So look for the rain and the snow and the icy conditions ultimately to end. But as for right now, still you could run into some slick spots out there on the roads. So with the snow and with the icy conditions, that's what you see in orange here. And even with the rain, things could be a little sloppy out there. So take it extra careful if you must be out, maybe in Philadelphia or New York or even towards Hartford. Another area getting snow, as we mentioned a little earlier, is here through Minnesota and into the Dakotas. Look out along I-29 or I-94, I-35. These could be some areas where you could run into some problems because of the wintry weather. As that area of low pressure moves through the region, then moves to the Great Lakes, we'll see that snow spreading eastward. And we're thinking that totals are going to be maybe 3 to 6 inches here through Minnesota and into northern Wisconsin and even into the UP of Michigan, at least the western UP. You could pick up to half a foot of snow, while in the northeast, again, things have begun to wind down somewhat. Still a little snow falling, and you still could pick up to 3 inches of snow, possibly here through New York and into New England. But the system here through the Midwest is, again, producing a rather widespread area of snow, even getting some blowing snow through parts of the Dakotas, so that could reduce your visibility. Among other things, the snowy conditions could cause some problems out there on the roads. So look out Minneapolis, St. Paul, and back towards Bismarck, and maybe even Pierre, getting some of that wintry weather in Duluth and International Falls. Westward, getting snow through the Bitterroots, the Cascades, into the Wasatch, and even the Colorado Rockies picking up some of that snow. So maybe some good news for some of the ski resorts here. Not so good if you're going to be out and about. Southwest, not a lot going on in California or through most of Arizona and New Mexico. But here to the north where the snow's falling, you could pick up 3 to 6 inches of snow, possibly through the Cascades of Washington and into the mountains of Utah and again in Colorado, while a rather widespread area of snow, less than 3 inches through the Bitterroots and even into the Cascades of Oregon here. Not expecting any terribly tremendous amounts of snow through noon